Miss Hi Nana. See, today we will learn about the general properties of acids. So, how acids will behave, or else what are the properties shown by acids? So, we will learn those properties. Okay. So, the first property is the taste of the acids. So, taste. Actually, the soluble acids, the soluble acids are soluble acids have sour taste. They have sour taste. Okay, they have sharp sour taste. What is the meaning of sour? Sour means pullaga undadam. So soluble acids have sharp sour to taste. So this is about the taste, the property of taste. How the acids taste? They taste sour. Next, effect of indicators. Indicators. How acids how acids affect the indicators? What are indicators? Indicators means the substances. Indicators are the substances which are used. The substances which can identify the substances which can identify the given substance as an acid or base. So that means suppose if a substance is given to us, then it is asked to find out what is that substance. Is it an acid or base or a neutral substance? So in order to know whether the given substance is acid or base or neutral substance, we take the help of indicators. Okay, indicators are the substances which identify the given substance as an acid or a base. Okay, there are so many indicators in the nature. So one of the indicator is litmus solution. Litmus solution. Okay, simple indicators: litmus solutions and litmus papers. Litmus solutions and litmus paper. See these acids with litmus solution. Litmus solution is an indicator. Litmus paper is also an indicator. So this acid with litmus solution, when acid when acid is when acid is come into contact with litmus solution, this litmus solution, okay, see the litmus solution before what litmus solution we have to take? We have to take blue litmus solution. You have to take blue litmus solution. Actually, this litmus solution, this litmus solution, when it is mixed with alkali, what is alkali? Alkali is said to be base. So when litmus solution is mixed with alkali, base, which type of base? Base are also there are two types of bases. So alkali means water soluble base. Water soluble base is called as alkali. So when litmus solution is mixed with the alkali, then it turns into blue color. Blue color. Okay. Now this solution helps us to identify the acid. So that means alkali blue litmus paper, blue litmus solution. So when reacted with acids, that means will indicate. This helps us to indicate the acid. This solution will turn to the solution will turn to the solution will turn to red color. The solution turn to red with acid. With acid, okay. The alkaline blue litmus solution. Alkaline blue litmus solution. Alkaline. Alkali or else alkaline. Suppose if alkali is mixed, it is called as alkaline blue litmus solution. So with acids, the alkaline blue litmus solution will turn to red. So that means your alkaline blue litmus solution is an indicator to know whether the given substance is acid or not. Suppose if the given substance is acid, then what happens? So when this acid is mixed with alkaline blue litmus solution, so this alkaline blue litmus solution will turn into red color. Right. Now with litmus paper, see actually acid will turn blue litmus paper acid. Okay, with acids, the blue litmus paper also will turn to red. Even the blue litmus paper also turn to red. So litmus solution is different from litmus paper. Litmus paper. Okay. Not pepper, it's paper. Okay. Right. Next, these acids they turn methyl orange solution. Methyl orange solution. So it is one type of indicator. It is another type of indicator. Okay. So here actually the color of the solution is orange. So when acids are mixed with methyl orange solution, okay, they turn to red color. They turn to red color, or else red to pink to red. That range, pink to red in that range. Okay, that color. I mean the orange color is converted to a color which is ranging from pink to red. Okay. So that means if the methyl orange solution is turned to pink or pink to turn from orange to pink red, then it is understood that some acid is mixed with this. Okay, when some acid is mixed with the methyl orange solution, it will turn to pink to red color. Okay. Next, acids will turn the alkaline phenolphthalein. Okay, alkaline phenolphthalein. Okay, which is pink in color. Actually, alkaline phenolphthalein, which is pink in color. Okay, in aqueous solutions, in water, or else in aqueous solution. Okay, what happens? So the pink colored alkaline phenolphthalein, it becomes colorless. Okay, so that means it loses its pink color. Okay, that means alkaline phenolphthalein, which is pink in color, when mixed with the acids, immediately this one will lose its color. Okay, so I mean take this one in aqueous solutions and test with acids. Okay, test with some substance. Suppose into this solution, if I add one substance, due to the addition of that substance, if this solution turns to colorless, then the added substance is said to be acid. So in this way, our indicators will help us to identify the given substance, whether it is an acid or a base. Okay, right. The next property is effect on skin. The next property is effect on skin, because acids, they are harmful. Okay, what happens when they fall on the skin? So effect of acids on the skin. Effect of acids on the skin. Generally, if the acids are strong mineral acids, strong mineral acids are corrosive. Okay, acids, they have corrosion action. They have corrosive action. They have corrosive action. Okay, on the skin, when they fall on the skin. Okay, when fall on the skin, okay, and produce and produce and produce and produce painful burns So it burns, okay, and it is very painful. So what is corrosive action? What is the meaning of corrosive action? That means, suppose if this is the skin, suppose if that acid is fallen on the skin, what happens? So it will make all the skin will form a mass. All the skin will come together. All the skin will come together and forms a mass. Okay, so at that place you will find where that place will burn, and it will be very painful. So such action is said to be corrosive action. Okay. So different acids will show different colors. For example, if concentrated sulfuric acid suppose if concentrated sulfuric acid falls on the skin, this is skin. If concentrated sulfuric acid falls on the skin, then so that area will become black. Okay, skin will become black. So this area will become black. Okay, the skin in that area will become black. Suppose if it is concentrated nitric acid, it falls on the skin, what happens? See, actually concentrated sulfuric acid turns that area into black due to charring, the process known as charring. Charring or dehydration. Due to charring or dehydration, the concentrated sulfuric acid, when it falls on the skin, it turns to black. Okay. Then when suppose if concentrated nitric acid is fall on the skin, what happens? So this area will turn into yellow color. Why? Because here the proteins which are present on the skin is made up of lipids and proteins and other substances are also. Okay, so here the proteins are converted into xanthoproteins. Xanthoproteins. The proteins are converted into xanthoprotein. The color of xanthoproteins is yellow in color. So the protein layer which is present in the skin, it is converted into yellow color because the proteins are converted into xanthoproteins which are yellow in color. Suppose if concentrated hydrochloric acid is fallen on the skin, so it turns the skin into amber color. Amber means golden color. Okay, it turns the skin into amber color. Okay, like this, the strong mineral acids, generally they show corrosive action when fall on the skin and produce painful burns. Okay, mineral acids. Organic acids, they are not that much dangerous and they are not that much corrosive in nature. And one more thing, even mineral acids also, even all mineral acids are not corrosive. There are certain mineral acids, there are certain strong mineral acids are corrosive. Weak mineral acids like, for example, carbonic acid, the soda water. Soda water is nothing but it is a carbonic acid. It's a weak mineral acid. Okay, so we can drink that mineral acid. So that mineral acid, weak mineral acid, carbonic acid, for example, carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. What's the formula of carbonic acid? H2CO3. So it is a weak mineral acid. It's a weak mineral acid. So weak mineral acids, they are not corrosive. They are not corrosive. They are not corrosive. See this is used to prepare soft drinks. In soft drinks like Thumbs Up, Coca-Cola, okay, or else Sprite, etc. So in soft drinks, in the preparation of soft drinks, we use this carbonic acid. Okay, it is also called as aerated water. It is also called as aerated water. It is also called as aerated water. Aerated water. So like this, only strong mineral acids are corrosive. Weak mineral acids are not corrosive. That means all mineral acids, we should not say that all mineral acids are corrosive. So because there are some mineral acids which are non-corrosive, they are not corrosive. They should not, they won't react with the skin and they won't harm the skin. Okay, only strong mineral acids will harm the skin and they produce painful burns. Right. So this is the effect of acids on the skin. Now let us learn another property. Let us learn another property. The effect of electric current. Effect of electric current on the acids. Effect of electric current on the acids. Effect of electricity. Effect of electricity. See, suppose if you take aqueous solution of acid, what is this one? aqueous solution of acids. Okay, aqueous solution of acids if you take. So in aqueous solution of acids, what happens? This acid will decompose into ions. Acids will break down into ions. Okay, acids will break down acid into ions when electricity is passed. See, look here. Suppose this is a metal rod, or else this is graphite rod, and even this is another graphite rod. Okay, suppose if these two graphite rods, if they are connected to, if they are connected to a battery externally, okay, right, and this is a switch. If you switch on, if you switch on the battery, what happens? So this aqueous solution of acid will conduct electricity. Will conduct electricity. The aqueous solution of acid will conduct electricity. Okay, that means this aqueous solution of acids conduct electricity. It is act as good conductor of electricity. Okay, see, this is known as a negative terminal. This is called as positive terminal of the battery. So here the negative terminal is connected to an electrode. So these are called as electrodes. Electrodes. Electrodes are the solid materials that can conduct electricity. And this is called as electrolyte. Electrolyte. Electrolyte is a liquid material that can conduct electricity. Electrodes are solid materials. Electrolyte is a liquid material that can conduct electricity. So now generally we take a graphite as electrodes. Okay, and this is the liquid. Here we have taken aqueous solution of acid as a liquid. Now when the battery is connected, what happens? So to know whether the electricity is passing through this one, simply we connect a bulb. We connect a bulb to this apparatus, to this arrangement. Suppose if electricity is passed upon, if you after switching on, if electricity is passed, then this bulb will glow. This bulb will glow. That bulb will glow. Okay, it will glow. Suppose if electricity is not conducted by this solution, then that bulb does not glow. Okay, it remains as it is only, without glowing. Okay, that means if you pass electricity through this aqueous solution of acid, what happens? This bulb will glow. So this is called as cathode. This is called as cathode. This electrode is called as cathode, and this electrode is called as anode. That means there are two electrodes. What are they? One electrode is called as cathode and another electrode is called as anode. Okay. See what happens in the aqueous solution of acids. Okay, when electricity is passed, what happens here? This is the cathode. So at the cathode, you will find the liberation of hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode. What is this one? What is this one? Hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay, hydrogen gas is released at the cathode. When does it release? When electricity is passed through the aqueous solution of acids. What happens? This acid. See what happens actually? Acid generally it is denoted with like this in water. Okay, suppose under electricity, when electricity is passed, what happens? So uh, this will convert into, this will produce hydrogen gas. It will break down. H plus and A minus are broken down. Okay, what happens immediately? This H plus will convert into hydrogen gas at cathode. At cathode, this H plus will convert into hydrogen gas. So like this, the effect of electricity. That means acids will be affected by the electricity. Acid will conduct electricity because as they are good conductors of electricity. Why they are good conductors of electricity? Because acid can produce ions in water. As acids can produce ions in water, so it can act as good conductor of electricity. Okay, and one more thing. So when electricity is passed through the aqueous solution of acids, so hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode. So that is also important. So in this way, the effect of electricity on acids can be learned. So this is another property. That means another property of acid is it can conduct it is a good conductor of electricity and it liberates hydrogen at cathode. So this is another property of acids. That means acid will conduct electricity and also they liberate or else they decompose and liberate hydrogen gas at cathode. Next property is reactions. We will also learn the reactions of acids. Reactions of acids with some other substances. Reactions of acids with metals, metal oxides, metals. M stands for metal. Okay. So here metal oxide. Okay. Okay. Reaction of acids with metal hydroxide. Metal hydroxide. Okay. Generally, OH means hydroxide. Metal hydroxide. Okay. Reaction of acids with metal carbonates. Metal carbonates. Reaction of acids with metal hydrogen carbonates. They are also called as metal bicarbonates. Metal bicarbonates or else metal hydrogen carbonates. Okay. Next, reaction of acids with metal sulfides. Metal sulfite. Sulfite. Okay, metal sulfite. Metal sulfite. Reaction of acid with metal hydrogen sulfite. Metal hydrogen sulfite. Here metal hydrogen carbonate. So metal hydrogen sulfite. Okay. So it is also called as metal bisulfite. Bisulfite. Okay. Next, reaction of acids with metal sulfates, metal sulfide. Reaction of acid with metal sulfide. Metal sulfide. Metal sulfide. Ide here. Ide. Here it is ite. Ite. Okay, here it is ide, but sulfide. Sulfide. Sulfite. Okay, it. So this is difference. Metal sulfide, whereas metal sulfite. Okay, next reaction of acids. So like this metal sulfide. Okay, even metal hydrogen sulfide. Reaction of acids with the metal hydrogen sulfide. Okay, with the metal hydrogen sulfide. Metal hydrogen sulfide, or else uh, metal bisulfide. Metal bisulfide. So we will learn all these things, how the reactions of acids will be with all these materials. See, generally with metals, if you see, if you if you learn, so metals when reacted with the dilute acids, metals when reacted with the dilute acids. So which metals generally here we have to take active metals. Which metals? Active metals we have to take. Active metals. Okay, we have to take active metals like aluminium, zinc, the magnesium, and so on. Such metals we have to take, iron, etc. So active metals like iron, aluminium, zinc, like that we have to take. Salts and hydrogen gas, they produce dilute acids. Dilute which acids? Generally we will take mineral acids. Dilute mineral acids, if you take, what happens? They produce salt and hydrogen gas. They form salt. They form salt, and hydrogen gas is liberated. They liberate hydrogen gas. For example, take aluminum metal with dilute HCl. Dilute HCl, acid. This is an acid. Okay. So aluminum metal when reacted with dilute acids, what happens? So both of them, this metal will react with acid to form salt. What is the formula of that salt? It is called as aluminum chloride, AlCl3, aluminum chloride, and hydrogen gas is liberated. So that means here how so this HCl will convert into, it will break down into H plus and Cl minus, and hydrogen is liberated in the form of H2 gas, hydrogen gas, and chlorine. And chlorine will combine with aluminium to form aluminum chloride. So here, if I take two aluminium, so then dilute acids will be 6. Okay, 6 moles of aluminium. HCl reacts with the 2 moles of aluminium. What happens? It forms 2 AlCl3 and 3H2. So that means what is happening? So acids in the dilute acids, when are made to react with metals, particularly active metals like aluminum, iron, zinc, etc. What happens? So here they react with each other to liberate hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is liberated and salt is formed. This is important. So they liberate hydrogen gas and forms a salt. So what happens here? Metals, they liberate hydrogen gas, or else hydrogen gas is produced. They form hydrogen gas. Okay, like this. Suppose another example, take iron. Iron with a HCl, dilute acid. Okay, iron with HCl, what happens? It forms iron chloride. And hydrogen gas is liberated. FeCl3 forms FeCl2 plus hydrogen gas is liberated. So what happens? same way 6, okay, 2, 3. Suppose if it is made to react with sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid, it forms, so these are what? Salt. This is a salt. This is salt of aluminum chloride. This is a salt of aluminum with chlorine. This is a salt of iron with chlorine. So now iron with sulfate, FeSO4, it is also another salt, FeSO4. Ferrous sulfate, FeSO4, okay, plus hydrogen gas is liberated. That means a salt is formed and hydrogen gas is also liberated. So FeSO4, like this. Okay, this is a salt. So all these are salts and this is hydrogen gas. That means when metals are reacted with acids, okay, which metals? Active metals. Acids. What type of acids? Dilute mineral acids. See, don't take dilute nitric acid. See, dilute nitric acid cannot liberate dilute nitric acid cannot liberate H2 gas, because as it is oxidizing agent, so it's a strong oxidizing agent. As it is a strong, even dilute nitric acid is also strong oxidizing agent. Okay, hence what happens? It cannot liberate hydrogen gas. So what does it liberate? Instead of hydrogen gas, dilute nitric acid, when reacted with metals, okay, it forms this dilute nitric acid. When reacted with metal, it forms nitric oxide gas. Nitric oxide gas is liberated instead of hydrogen gas. So which gas it is producing? Nitric oxide gas. Why it is so? Because dilute nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. So that is why. So except nitric acid, so all other mineral acids, they produce salts and hydrogen gas. Whereas dilute nitric acid, it produces salt and hydrogen gas. Instead of hydrogen gas, it produces NO2. So write like this. Dilute nitric acid, when reacted with aluminium, it produces aluminium nitrate plus NO2 gas, so nitric oxide gas. Okay, so just I didn't balance it, so just you balance it later. So here this is the important thing. So with the nitric acid, important, with the dilute nitric acid, when active metal is reacted, so what happens? It liberates nitric oxide. So here hydrogen gas is not liberated. But in general, when metals react with the acids, they liberate hydrogen gas. But dilute nitric acid will liberate nitric oxide. Okay. So like that, nitric oxide, or else with some other metals, it may liberate nitrogen dioxide also. Okay, or sometimes it may liberate laughing gas also sometimes, but not hydrogen. Remember that dilute nitric acid cannot produce hydrogen gas when it react with metals, whereas all other dilute acids, they liberate hydrogen gas and they form salt. Here also In this process, salt is formed. Okay, but instead of hydrogen, so the gases like nitric oxide or nitrogen dioxide or nitrous oxide, so such gases are produced instead of hydrogen gas. In this reaction also salt is formed, but hydrogen gas is not formed. Okay, remember right now. This is about the action of acids, dilute acids on the metals. The action of dilute acids on the metals. Now we learn about the action of dilute acids. Dilute acids. Here actually dilute acids we have to take with when reacted with the metal oxides. Okay, here in all the cases we have to take dilute acids. Which acids? Dilute acids. See with metal oxides. See dilute acid when reacted with metal oxide, they produce salt in the same way. Here also salt is produced, but instead of hydrogen, because before that dilute acid when what made to react with metal, it is forming salt plus H2. So when metal is taken, it is forming H2. When metal oxide is taken, it forms H2O. Okay, so that is the thing, that is the difference. So with metal it forms hydrogen, with metal oxide it will form hydrogen oxide, that means water. Let us take some examples. Metal oxides. Okay. Acids, dilute HCl, will take dilute HCl plus metal oxides, take potassium oxide, it forms what? It forms KCl and produces hydrogen and produce water. So it is metal oxides, not metal. So there is oxygen also. Okay, there is oxygen also. So what happens? It forms reaction like this. Okay. Take sodium. Take sodium oxide. It forms NaC plus H2. Take calcium oxide. It forms calcium chloride. Okay, calcium chloride and H2O. Okay, like this. So down the series. So we know metal activity series. Already we learned metal activity series. So as we go down from potassium, what is the metal activity series contains? So potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, okay, zinc, iron, okay, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, okay, gold, platinum. So this is the metal activity series. As we move down the metal activity series, what happens to the reactivity of the metal? So the reactivity of the metal decreases. So this is a highly reactive metal. It is somewhat less reactive metal. It is somewhat still less reactive, and it is still more less reactive. That means, so as we move down the group, what happens? The reactivity of the metal will decreases. So this is less reactive when compared to all these metals. So zinc is less reactive than all these metals. Iron is less reactive than all these metals. Lead is less reactive than all these metals. So this is the metal activity series. Already we have seen in our ICSE, part 1. right? So down the metal activity series, suppose take copper oxide, take sulfuric acid, or else HCl, anything we may take, copper oxide, it forms copper sulfate plus water is liberated. Water is liberated. Water is formed. Okay, in this way, uh, the dilute acids, when reacted with metal oxides, they form salt and water. Right. Now, the dilute acids, when reacted with metal oxides. Okay. See, generally, metal oxides, they are basic in nature. They are basic in nature. They are basic in nature. Metal hydroxides, they are bases. They are bases. Metal oxides are basic in nature, whereas metal hydroxides, they are bases. So what happens when acid reacts with base? What happens? It produces salt and water. Always remember that. So this is the basic thing, the important thing one should learn. When acid reacts with base, it forms a salt and water. Okay. Right. So here, as metal oxides are basic in nature, they form salt and water. But here in this case, metal is not forming water, but metal oxide is forming water. So metal oxide is, as it is basic in nature, it is forming salt and water. So even base, this is directly base, and this is having basic oxide. This is having basic nature, and this is directly base. Even with basic, even with basic nature, that means even with metal oxides also, they form salt and water. Okay, so like this, the reaction of metal oxides will be, okay, right, with the acids. Now we will learn the reactions of metal hydroxides and all other reactions in the next class. Okay, we will learn the reactions of these dilute acids with all other substances like metal hydroxides, metal carbonates, metal bicarbonates, metal sulfite, metal bisulfite, metal sulfide and metal bisulfide. Okay, so all these we will learn in the next class. Okay, now.